we felt lost in that moment, but it felt like we were a little bit lost up until that point, and then we bet on ourselves, and it felt like the first time we found ourselves, and it was like this moment of like, okay, hell yeah. It is like bittersweet in a way. It's like, I don't want to say sad, but it just feels good to bet on yourself and then see it succeed because you're like, damn, we did this thing. Like we went hard at it and we came out the other side. Like, not saying it's perfect, but it was cool to bet on ourselves. And that felt awesome. And probably one of the first times entrepreneurially that we really did that. I really did that hardcore was go all in and it felt amazing. Like I loved it.
Rise up, mind shift, new day, new hustle, street lights, bright ideas, courage through the struggle, focus on the vision, move smart, stay true, from the city to the boardroom, we breaking through, shift gears, new fears, but we thrive in attention, turn lessons into action, goals into intention, don't blink, stay up, every player's precision, welcome to mind shift, where ambition meets the mission.
My name is Cody Isabel. I run a company called Mind Brain Body Lab. We help people who are stuck between a breakup or divorce, something like that, and getting back into dating again, heal heartbreak using neuroscience and internal fitness systems.
When you were really lost, what was the voice in your head telling you every day?
The vo- for me, when I was really lost, the voice that I always come back through, Conceive, Believe, Achieve is the name of like my holding company, and the quote that comes to mind that I was just playing on repeat always when I'm lost, when I'm found, no matter what, is whatever my mind can conceive and believe I can achieve. That's going pretty much no matter what. Uh, sometimes it can be hard. Like the entrepreneurial game is not an easy one necessarily, and so there are times where things come into my mind like, oh man, are we going to be able to make it? Are we going to survive? Am I good enough to do this? Am I worthy enough to do this? Like, but ultimately, I come back to I'm gonna figure it out. Like, if I can conceive it and believe it, I can get it done. And I've conditioned my mind to get to that place pretty quickly.
All right, during that time when you felt lost, how did you feel emotionally? Like, what was really going on inside?
I say the most recent time I felt lost was we, we had just been, it's been years that we were just trying and trying and trying and trying all these different things over and over again. And it was the start of Q4 2025. Me, CJ, and Chloe were like, all right, this is the core team. This is all we got. Like, we have about a month and a half of runway left. Do we want to bet on working with other brands and going that route? Because Chloe and I are both creators. And so we can do brand deals and work with brands and stuff. So do we want to go that route? Or do we want to bet on ourselves and our own programs, our own products, our own services? But we'd have to start from zero essentially, spin up programs for me and Chloe, and then be able to start selling that stuff. And so i- in those, it was in that moment where we were kind of like, all right, we just got to bet on ourselves. And that was the start of Q4. And we're like, we're going to do this. So we launched Chloe's program and it was a huge success, built our runway even more. And in like 45 days, we got this ad spun up, program outlined, sales call, sales process, everything outlined. And like, we felt lost in that moment, but or it felt like we were a little bit lost up until that point, and then we bet on ourselves, and it felt like the first time we found ourselves, and it was like this moment of like, okay, hell yeah. It is like bittersweet in a way. It's like, I don't want to say sad, but it just feels good to bet on yourself and then see it succeed because you're like, damn, we did this thing. Like we went hard at it and we came out the other side. Like, not saying it's perfect, but it was cool to bet on ourselves, and that felt awesome and probably one of the first times entrepreneurially that we really did that. Like I really did that hardcore was go all in, and it felt amazing. Like I loved it.
What strategies do you use to reset mentally when you're feeling overwhelmed or stuck?
Social connection's a big one for me. I'm an extroverted extrovert, so I associate connecting with other people. I think uh friends and family, it helped me through a really tough time. Uh Recently, especially, like, all of this stuff was happening where we're, like, struggling entrepreneurially, and I also went through a breakup that I just was not expecting that kinda blindsided me, and socially connecting with CJ, with Chloe, with my therapist, obviously, my friends, my family, my brother, my best friend Chris, uh, helped me a ton during that time to be able to like talk about what was going on, them kind of validate what's happening, and just like the number of times I hopped on with Chloe and CJ on our what are supposed to be work one-on-ones, and was just like, dude, we got some things going on. Like, this is what I'm, like, struggling with right now, and they were just there for me. And it was never too much. Like, that helps so much. And having people around you that can do that and help you is, like, one of the most powerful things that I've cultivated around me. God bless. And that's what really helps me through all of this stuff.
During that loss phase, where did you turn for answers or inspirations?
For me, answers and inspiration come from testing things. So I'm a big I play basketball in college. I'm a big get on the court and try. So answers and inspiration come from experimenting and trying and going and doing those types of things. Um, and then the other piece of that is, I guess, more like thinking. I read a lot of books about other entrepreneurs, about literally people who started countries and like our founding fathers, like all of these really cool people, and I get inspiration ideas from them, and I read a ton. I mean, I read 3, 4, 5 books at a time. I don't always finish books. I pick them up and I kind of like, oh, this is interesting. That's interesting. Um, and then the final piece is talking to other people. I love, surprise, surprise, I'm a social butterfly. I love talking to other people um, and having conversations with them, other industry experts. We have a podcast called Decision Lab where I interview all sorts of different people, all sorts of different brands, and all sorts of different industries, lawyers, doctors, CEOs, and I get to hear their perspective and understand from them. And so those are all the different places that I would say I'm grabbing information. Oh, and content. We shoot a ton of content, and I consume content as well. So that's another place I grab inspiration from.
Did you ever have a moment of false clarity, thinking you found the right answer or path, but when you acted on it, it didn't go the way you expected?
100%, dude. That has been my entire entrepreneurial journey thus far. When I left I worked at Sandler, an organizational psychology company, right out of school. When I left there, I was like, oh, this is perfect. This is exactly what I'm going to do. That ended up not working. When uh, we decided we're going to start a manufacturing AI company, even though my degree is in cognitive neuroscience. Like, why on earth would I go into manufacturing? It makes no sense. But I was so crystal clear. We raised money for that. We brought on a team. We got office space, all the stuff. Completely failed. We tried to do marketing consulting and helping people with like building websites and stuff. Totally failed. Hated it. uh, then we were creating content. I was creating content, just kind of random content, and then started working with achievers and trying to make content for them, and then anxious people, and then all these different things that I was like, oh, that's the one, that's the one, that's the one. Uh, and that just happened over and over and over again. But act, assess, adjust, act, assess, adjust. I just do that rapidly as fast as I can. And that's how I like rapidly create the clarity. So I don't really consider it failure. I think it's feedback. I just kept getting feedback. And now we're on a path where for the first time I feel clarity. And also we have some like success that we've made and we've got systems and processes and a team and all the stuff that we need to like actually move forward in a way that I haven't felt before.
We are architects of attention. We don't just tell stories, we ignite them. With cinematic vision and digital fire, we turn brains into experiences. Our stories don't whisper, they roar. Bold, raw, unforgettable. We transform moments into movements. Each pixel, each frame, each word crafted to leave a mark. We don't chase trends, we set them ablaze. Your brain is more than a logo, it's a living, breathing force. We amplify voices, spark conversations, and build connections that stick. Our creators are relentless, award-winning, and obsessed with excellence. We are storytellers, weave our brain amplifiers. We connect you to the modern consumer, wherever they are and however they listen. Dare to be seen, dare to be heard, dare to be unforgettable.
Was there a particular resource or piece of content that changed your mindset or helped you get closer to clarity?
I'm a big believer in a lot of Alex Hormozy stuff. He has his offers framework, his leads framework, and his money models, and, like, the way that he, like, creates content around that, it's very pragmatic and, like, systemized, and that's not how my brain is traditionally, but just following that process has really helped. That's what has led, Chloe and I to where we're at today in our different programs and stuff and our offers and, like, our sales and, like, how we've got continuation offers and that kinda stuff, and so I would say his content, his offers book, his leads book, and his money models book really helped lay the foundation of what experiments we should be running so that we could get clarity faster. So it wasn't just direct clarity, he really gives you the tools to create clarity through experimenting, and I think that was a really useful operating system to, like, get into my brain.
At what point of your journey have you had to deal with insecurities and low confidence? How did you overcome that?
Yeah, I did, like, the whole time. There's so much insecurity. I create content. Mind Brain Body Lab is one half, like, helping people with, like, coaching and therapy and one half media. So, I have about 1,000,000 followers across my account and or across my different accounts, and just over and over again. Every day I have to face this. I'm like, "Oh, is this the video that gets me canceled or that people don't like?" And I'm just fighting against approval or, like, what I perceive, approval is, and I have to work on that constantly. There've been many times, though, where I post something like, uh, CJ and maybe help me remember. I can't remember what it was, but it was something about neuroscience or my degree or something like that, and I was one half of the comment sections was just flaming me, and the other half was, like, supporting me and stuff, and it was just getting millions of views, people were picking it up, people were reacting to it, uh, and it was the first time that I really I'm pretty sure it was on TikTok. Or maybe I think it was on TikTok, and I was just getting roasted from all angles. People were reaching out on LinkedIn, people were reaching out to my email, people were texting me, people were reaching out to my family. I'm just like, "What is happening right now?" And I was like I just had to turn my phone off. I was anxious as shit. I couldn't sleep, like, I was having panic attacks, like, it was the worst. It was the worst, and that these I mean, they're not fake people, but it feels fake. It's social media. You wouldn't expect that would be something that could mess you up that much mentally, but that moment is seared in my brain, and it's been a non-zero number of times that I've thought about that before I post something, and sometimes I need a little push, which is why I love CJ and Chloe and everybody around me to help, like, push me forward and help me continue to, like it's worth it. To me, it's worth it. Purpose over everything, it's worth it to risk that, even if I have to go through that again, and it'd be easier this time, but that was for sure that was that was a really, really rough time, and then the other one would be, like, during my breakup. That was probably more of, like, more recent, but that was really hard to have to manage all of that mentally and emotionally, plus the business stuff that we're working on, so those would be 2 of the most prominent.
Looking back, what would you tell your past self at your lowest point?
I wanna say I tell myself just to keep going, like honestly, when I write letters to my future self, the thing that gets me the most is when I write, "It's gonna be okay," and just giving myself my past self that certainty that it's gonna be alright. You've got this, you figured it out, everything worked out, all the right people were there, all the right things happened, you were in all the right rooms, talking to all the right people, and it just worked out. And that's when I do those journals, that's what gets me the most emotional and, like, that helps me the most in the present moment. So that's what I go back and say. It's gonna be okay.
How has your definition of success changed from when you were lost to where you are now?
I think one of the biggest when you start out as an entrepreneur, you think success is this big thing that happens all at once. And you hear everyone say, "Oh, I was an overnight success after 10 years," or whatever, but you don't really know what that means or understand that as you're going through it. And so I definitely had that perspective that, "Oh, it's gonna be it'll be an overnight success. It's all gonna work out. Like, it's just gonna be fine." And I didn't really until I got some scars, I didn't really understand what people meant by it takes, like, 10 years or whatever, uh, to become that overnight success or whatever. until more recently, where now looking backwards and all the things that I've tried, uh, and all the tests that we've run have now accumulated into things that we're able to do, processes we're able to have, and success we're able to have. So I think that's probably the biggest shift that I've had is a more realistic understanding of like what success even is. And it's not just some one big thing. It's a bunch of things compounded together over time.
Beyond work and achievements, how do you define yourself and keep your sense of self-worth?
Internal family systems, it's the type of psychotherapy I'm trained in. That has really helped me a lot. Because self-worth isn't something you find, it's something you are. Like it's not something you do, it's something you be. And reminding myself of that constantly is super helpful, and I create content around this. And so taking my own advice, is the number one thing, is like, how can I take my own advice? How can I take my own advice? Uh, is something I'm asking myself constantly and just reminding myself that self-worth is I don't have to find my self-worth. I am worthy. I am good enough. I am deserve success. I deserve everything that is coming towards me. Um, and training myself to believe that, and then working with the parts of me and the baggage that cloud that and don't believe that. They're trying to protect me, those parts, the people pleaser or the one that's seeking approval or the one that's anxious or these different parts of me, and being able to help them understand, hey, I'm older now and we have new resources available to us. We have new friends and family and tools available to us now. Uh, and you don't have to protect me in the same ways as you did when I was young. And just reminding those parts of myself that I am worthy, I am good enough fundamentally. It's just what I am. We don't have to find that stuff. We just have to remember it. So reminding myself of that as constantly as possible, uh, or as consistently as possible, is the number one thing.
What would you tell a fellow entrepreneur who's feeling stuck or lost right now?
Define an experiment and start. I mean, get into the action cycle as soon as you can. Like, where do you want to get to? Like, what is your goal? And then what is the tiniest, smallest, littlest thing that you could do and then start? Like the most, I help people with people asking for help with content all the time, and they fall in different groups. And one of my buddies, his name is Spencer. He's a successful entrepreneur, exited out of the company, like has done the work and very successful entrepreneur already. And he started asking me, I want to get into content. I want to start making content for my side project and what I'm passionate about. And he was asking me for advice and help and all this stuff. And the number one thing, the fundamental unit of what differentiates people is the action they take and how rapidly they can take that action. And so he instantly started to invest into, he hired someone that could help him that works 40 to 50 hours a week on just getting content out for him. He posts 2 or 3 times a day. He's asked me for feedback rapidly, and then he applies that feedback instantly. And he took rapid action, got into the action cycle, and crushed it, which makes sense because he was already a successful entrepreneur. So he knows it takes what it takes to get success. Whereas other people, sometimes they'll come to me and they're like, I have this idea. I think I want to make a account about this. What should I do? And I'm like, okay, let's create a video. What would be your first video idea? So we can get that posted. 2 weeks later, they haven't posted anything. 3 weeks later, they haven't posted anything. And it's like, dude, like, you're stuck because you're stuck. You're like, not because you couldn't take a step. If you don't want to post a full video, could you post a story? Could you just record the video but not post it and just send it to a friend? Like, what's the smallest action or experiment you could run that you feel comfortable with to build resilience in your nervous system and build regulation around taking that action and getting into the action cycle? Then assess how that little micro action went, make an adjustment, take another action. That would be, no matter what it is you're doing, do that. It's how your nervous system grows. It's how your nervous system works. I promise. I study this stuff.
What advice would you give to aspiring content creators?
It'd be very similar. I would say figure out something that you're curious about. Like what's something that you would skip watching Netflix for to learn more about and read about and like learn about. That's a huge piece. So that you have like depth of knowledge in a field. The other thing is for a creator is proof beats promise every time. So if you want to be like an entertainment type creator, awesome. Like you can that's that's a wild time. You have some whales to compete against. But you can do that. If you want to be an educational type creator and build a business out of this and do coaching or something like that, then I would highly recommend uh, uh, finding something that you're curious about and then getting proof that you can help people achieve that transformation. So niche down, create a super specific transformation that you can promise that either you've gone through yourself because you are your best like past client, right? Transformations you've made. It's undeniable proof you've gotten yourself there. So start where you have proof and with something you're curious about, and then start to make content around, and then get in the action cycle I just talked about. Like start to post content, start to create content around that. Um, Even better is if you want to become a creatorpreneur where you're making money from what you're doing, getting some initial clients and start for free. Go. Alex Hermosi talks about this all the time. I have a buddy who love him to death, Trevor. He's grinding right now to be a like health and fitness coach. And we were talking about this, and he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go get some clients." And oh, 3 weeks later, he's got 21 free clients. Maybe a little overkill, but now he's got data, and now he's got people who can go through his program. He can fine tune that, figure that stuff out. They can give him testimonials, and he's got proof. And it is unbelievable how powerful proof is in relation to content. It builds your confidence and it builds other people's confidence in you. And that becomes a positive feedback cycle. If you just continue to try and talk out of your ass without any actual proof or knowledge or depth, everyone's going to know you're using ChatGPT. Like everyone's going to know that and you're not going to differentiate yourself. You're just going to fall away and then you'll be like, oh, well, it didn't work. Did it not work or did you not work, brother? That's what I would, that's what I would, that's what I would like suggest to a content creator. It's a full-time job. Like it's that's the other thing that drives you crazy. People are like, "Oh, I'll just post content. It's so easy." Hell no. I got a team of 8. Like this is hard. This is it's not necessarily it's simple, but it's not necessarily easy. So those would be that's the brain dump of what I think I'd suggest to somebody that want to make content.
How do you go about finding a mentor, and what does that relationship look like?
So when I look for mentors, I look for people who are is someone who has gotten to where I want to get. Uh, that's like the bottom line. If they have also helped other people get where I want to get and done that multiple times, then I'm like, okay, this is the type of person that I want to talk about. Um, and so that's the type of mentor that's ahead of me. So like Andrew Dowis over at Pro Athlete is somebody that I've talked to, and he's been kind of a mentor. Scott Havens has been a mentor. Some of those relationships look like just kind of if I have something and I need something from them, just asking them or asking a question. Brian Sarf is another guy here in Kansas City that's been a little bit more of an active mentor where um, it's at least probably quarterly, maybe every 6 months that I sit down with him and I'm like, okay, here's what I'm struggling with. Here's what I'm going through. Like, what would you suggest? What would you do? What is your advice? Um, that has helped a lot. And it really just, again, starts by somebody who I respect and admire and has gotten where I want to go, doing what I want to do, or know something that I don't know. Um, those would be, that's how I like figure out who I want. And then I just go with a problem and specific advice. And then I go act upon that advice. And I've never found a mentor or someone that is unwilling to do that if your go would take the action. If you just let them talk and you don't ever do anything about it, then it's just kind of like they're like, what's going on here? But you go act on their advice. I found that to be the best type of relationship that which works well for me because I love taking action. So um, that's what I found to be the the uh, the best types of things that you could do. And then there's also mentorships as like male leadership, something like even like, I find mentors even in people, that are younger than me, older than me, like, they don't have to be older than me. Like, freaking CJ, my brand director is a mentor in certain ways in relation to, like, societal things and stuff that I just don't necessarily think about that she sees that I don't see, and I learn from that, and I respect her for that, and that helps me a ton. Have a more diverse and a better understanding of the people I help and the things that I'm doing, so I think mentors can be anywhere if you pay close enough attention.
What was that initial conversation like when you were talking to the people that you want to be your mentor?
I mean, it was very problem oriented. It's like, hey, I am not at a place at the current moment where I can necessarily pay you, but I need some help, and I promise I'll pay it forward in the future when there's a young entrepreneur who needs help from me. Would you be down to meet with me for a couple of minutes? I have 2 or 3 specific things that I wanna ask you about, and then go take action on. I promise not to take too much of your time. Would you be down to meet with me? And that's the pitch, and no one has ever said no when I say that, uh, because I'm just bearing myself and saying, "Man, like, I just need help. Would you be down to help?" And most of the time, if you just ask for help and you're a little vulnerable, it goes a long way.
So what's one book that made an impact on your journey?
It's either Just Listen or Organize Tomorrow Today. I think I'm gonna have to go with Organize Tomorrow Today. It's by Dr. Jason Selk. I got this book from one of these mentors. I got out of school, and it was a successful financial advisor. He's an entrepreneur here in town, and I sat down with him, and I was like, "Hey, any advice as I start to get into the business world?" And he's like, "Read this book and do everything it says, and you'll be successful." And I was just like, "What? Okay." And he gave me a signed copy from the author because he had like only 10 of them, and it was Organized Tomorrow Today, and if my team watches this, they will probably be like, "Oh my god, this is the guy that is causing all of this havoc in our lives." Because in that book, he talks about something called 3 most, 1 must, 3M, 1M, 3 most, 1 must, and it's a way to look at your checklist, um, and your to-do list and organize it, in a way that you get the 3 most important or the 3 most important things done first, and the one thing you must get done, first. So it's like the one most important thing. If I did this, it would make everything easier and more effortless, is the number one thing that you do, and that's how you start your day. And then after that, you go to the 3 most important things and do those next. And you put that at the top of your to-do list, and if you don't finish those, that's fine, but you don't move to the rest of your to-do list until you finish those things. And when you finish your 3M, 1M, your 3 most, 1 must, then you move to the rest of your to-do list. And that has fundamentally altered the way that I approach everything that I do. I have a 3M, 1M for the next 10 years, the next 5 years, the next 3 years, this year, the next quarter, the next month, the next week, the next day, the next hour. It just, it feels like it's in my DNA now. And so that's the biggest thing that I took about from that. And then Organize Tomorrow Today, in the title of the book, you set that up the day before. So you organize your tomorrow today. So like before I came here, I took a look at what do I have to do Saturday? Okay, what's the one most important thing? I need to finish my Becoming Her program outline or syllabus. So that's the number one thing. If I got that done, it'd make everything else easier because then I have copy that I know what content to make. I know what I'm going to talk like that makes everything else easier. That's my one thing. Then I need to work on a webinar, some webinar content that Chloe and I are doing this joint thing. I need to finish the scripting for that. And it's today, but I got to do that tomorrow. And so that does 2 things. It allows me to brain dump everything down the night before, and it's an ending to my day so that I don't go into the nighttime with racing thoughts and trying to figure out what am I going to do and all these things that wake entrepreneurs up in the middle of the night. That doesn't happen to me because I organized my tomorrow today. I already looked ahead. I already brain dumped everything down, and I'm absolutely certain what I'm going to do right when I wake up. So I don't wake up in the middle of the night with cold sweats. And then I wake up the next day and boom. I already started on my one thing and my 3 and 1M. So those 2 things from Organized Tomorrow Today is like core to me as a human in my operating system. So that's for sure the one. I talk about this all the time with people, uh, is a lot of what we've been talking about is doing, but not being. And I think that a lot of people get stuck being human doings instead of human beings. And when you can learn how to be more, you will attract the things that you want in your life more than having to chase them. And that's relationships, that's success, whatever it is. And so while it sounds like all the stuff that we've talking about so far was just do, and being hardcore, I think it is important, and I do spend a lot of time trying to figure out, like, how can I be more? How can I, be calm and confident and courageous and, like, spend time embodying and becoming the type of person that attracts the things that I want, as opposed to having to be someone that is always chasing them. And I really do think that's newer in my psyche and, like, my own personal work, but I do think that has also led to some of our more recent success and things like that, as opposed to trying to be and do everything for everyone else. It's just being me and being what I need and what I want. Uh, and I think that has helped me the most personally. Um, and is some of the work that I'm working on like live right now. So that's like what's on my heart right now is like not trying to force the things that you want, which sounds weird and like hugging trees, kumbaya on the forest. But when you can really start to just be more and like be the things you want and practice embodying the feelings and the emotions and the results that you want, shit really starts to change fast. Chloe talks about that. She's helped me a ton with that. It's something I work on with people as well. Is being able to receive. Like if you fill your life up with all this stuff and you have no time to be, then the universe can't give you anything because there's no space to give you anything. So you have to be open to receive. Surprise, surprise. So I think that would be that's I want to end on being, not on all the doing we just talked about.
All right, I got one more question. You just let me spark one up. So what does your spirituality look like?
For sure. So spirituality for me has been a wild ride. I started out when I was a kid. I grew up Catholic, uh, and that is a whole journey and multiple therapy sessions later. But I'm really more shifted into. I'm definitely more spiritual. I wouldn't consider myself necessarily religious, but I am definitely spiritual. And something that I talk about a lot is faith, purpose, and luck. Uh, and the way that I think about that is like it is my faith to do something great and to help people and to change the world. I have faith that someone bigger than me is looking out for that. I'm the luckiest person in the world because of those two things and the people I have around me. And it's my purpose to achieve these things. And I think about that constantly. Those three things, and that the universe is like on my team, and that there's something bigger than us. IFS is a semi-spiritual, if you will, like trauma therapy. And so there's a concept of self in IFS, that is like the seat of your consciousness and like who you are fundamentally. And it's just this enoughness and this abundance and like, it's calm, it's clear, it's perspective, it's playful, um, it's connected, like, clear. Uh, and so that's another like influence on me and in the spiritual dimension, if you will. Uh, Again, as a therapeutic model, it's not necessarily a spiritual model, but it definitely pulls from some of those things. And I believe there's a self in everybody, uh, and that everybody is made of these different parts, but we all fundamentally are connected by this. I don't know. I don't know what you'd call it necessarily, but we're all connected by something, and I think you can feel it. Uh, I know you can feel it when I'm in sessions with people, or if you're in like a group event, or like really cool things are happening. Like you can feel something is like interconnecting us that we can't quite describe. I study neuroscience, and so I'm on the edge of a lot of this stuff. What is consciousness? What is free will? What is some of this stuff? I think I blend a lot of spirituality with science, uh, and I really am interested in consciousness in relation to it being a fundamental property of the universe, which sounds kind of weird, but uh, I think that there's something there. Like we're receivers picking up something as opposed to I think something our brain is generating necessarily. So I don't know. That's some of the more recent thinking on this subject, but IFS fundamentally like universal. I think the universe is there to hold all of us, and then consciousness.
That's it for this episode of Mindshift. This series is presented by Startland News, KC's nonprofit newsroom for startups and innovators. Produced by Social Apex Media, a Kansas City marketing and content studio. If this hit for you, share it with another entrepreneur and subscribe for the next video.